In operation number 10, we have to use the cold saw to cut our brass extrusion to a length of 0.6 inches. In order to do that, we're going to place the brass extrusion in the vise, and we have to set the stop. The stop works with the 1/4 inch Allen. We loosen the top, and we find our cut length that's stamped on the different protrusions here on the stop. So I find 0.6, and I slide it up to the stop here, and then lock the stop in place using the 1/4 inch Allen. Next, we're going to make sure that we use our chip brush to remove all the chips from inside the vise. Place our workpiece inside the vise. In order to set the pneumatic clamp correctly, we must tighten the clamp against the workpiece and back it out a 1/4 turn to about a 1/2 turn. This allows the pneumatic piston to throw back and forth as we raise and lower the actual saw handle. Now, last but not least, we have to talk about feeds and speeds. Brass is a soft material, relatively, so we're going to use the high gear in order to cut this. Low gear is used for this harder material, such as steel. So we're going to switch it from off to high gear. Now, we hold onto the trigger. Once we pull the trigger, coolant should flow freely around the saw blade, and we drop it down and make our cut. In Kraang Disc Operation 20, we're going to face the front of the workpiece in order to bring it down to a 0.575 length. Now, to do this, we have a soft jaw. Our soft jaw has a pocket and a stop on the back side, so we can ensure that we're going ahead and facing at the same value every single time. We've locked our carriage out, so we cannot move the carriage back and forth. We can only move the cross slide during this operation to face our workpiece. Now, make sure when you're tightening your soft jaw that you hold the workpiece against the back stop as you tighten the jaw. Next, we want to make sure that the lathe is in reverse gear, fine feed rate, and 625 RPM for this operation. The chip load that we'll be running is 0.0037. So we want to make sure we're in B, our knob is over 0.0037, and fine ensures we're on the bottom portion of the map. Now, remember, all we're doing is feeding the cross slide. So you'll see we have the long feed locked out with this little collar right here. So to face the workpiece, we simply turn on the lathe and push down the cross feed. In order to prevent scratching the workpiece, we're going to loosen the tool and pull back on the tool as we retract the cross slide. Finally, don't forget to tighten the tool back up and remove your workpiece from the soft jaw. In operation number 30 for the Kraang Disc, we're going to face the other side to the finished length of 550 and drill the through hole through the center of the part for the brooch. And now, we have the same setup as we did in Operation 20, except our carriage is moved in 25 thou more. And our soft jaw setup is very, very similar, except we have to be very careful when putting the workpiece into the soft jaw during this operation, due to the fact that we faced one side in the previous operation, and there's a saw cut side on this operation. So we're going to place the workpiece in the soft jaw with the face side against the back machine side of the jaw. Once you tighten the workpiece, we want to make sure that the lathe is still set up at 625 RPM, reverse gear, fine feed, at a feed rate of 0.0037 inch per rev, and B setting for the feed. Now remember, the carriage is locked out, so we only want to move the cross feed lever when facing the workpiece. So simply turn on the lathe and cross feed lever down. In order to prevent scratching the workpiece when backing it out, we're going to use the Allen key To loosen the tool, hold the tool back away from the workpiece as you back the cross slide out. Next, we're ready to drill the through hole for the broach. To do that, we're going to use the tailstock and the drill chuck. So use the wrench, 7/8 wrench, to loosen the nut on the tailstock. Slide it forward to about 1/4 inch in front of the workpiece. And don't forget to lock the tailstock down with the wrench. Remember, the tailstock is a 90-degree turn. Loosen, tight. Loosen, tight. Just have to move it 90 degrees. You don't need to undo that nut. Now to drill, we're not going to center drill here because we're actually creating the datum for our part here. Everything's going to be based off this center hole that we're drilling from now on. Therefore, we're not really worried about the center drill. So, we're going to turn on the lathe and unlock the tailstock, squill, and use the hand wheel in order to drill a hole in the workpiece. On operation number 40 for the Kraang Disc, we're going to make a round hole into a D-shaped hole with a broach and our machine tool called a broach. So to do this, we must have that internal hole first available in order to use a broach. We slide the broach down through the hole and place the broach into the tool holder. Now a pin holds the broach in place. So place the pin in the hole. You may have to rotate the broach ever so slightly to get it to lock in place, and use your rag to tug on the broach slightly to make sure it's fixed in place. Next, we got to make sure our cutting fluid is here to lubricate and cool our tool. So place the cutting fluid nozzle directly above the broach and cycle the power on. Now simply pull down on the broach lever and broach your hole. Before removing the part, turn off the coolant, remove the part from the table, and pull back up on the lever to return the broach. Now, use your blue rag to grab onto the broach, pull the pin, and remove it from the machine, placing it back in the cleaning container. Now we made a round hole, a D-shaped hole with a broach, sharp internal corners. In operation number 50 for the Kraang Disc, we're going to drill and ream the hole to press fit in the dowel pin. In order to do that, we've designed a fixture in order to hold the workpiece for the drilling and reaming operation. So the first step is to install the workpiece in the fixture by placing the D-shaped hole over the deep-shaped protrusion in the fixture, and then clamping down the car lane clamp. In operation number 60 on the Kraang Disc, we're going to go ahead and mill the counterbalance profile and contour mill the outside profile so it's nice and shiny. Everybody loves a shiny air motor. So to do this, we've designed a fixture to hold 4 pieces at one time. I'm going to load 1 piece and show this operation with 1 piece only. But make sure you don't waste time, which is equal to money, and run 4 pieces at a time. So to do that, you'll see we have this D-shaped pin that's going to go through our center datum and hold the workpiece, or orienting our workpiece using the drilled and reamed hole we did in the previous operation. Place the D-shaped pin through the workpiece, place the workpiece on the fixture, inserting it through the dowel pin in the fixture, and tighten the socket head cap screw down. Now, this is not sufficient enough torque in order to hold this workpiece during machining, so we have to use the longer moment arm by using the longer piece of the wrench in order to tighten the workpiece to the fixture. So we'll remove the workpiece and go on to operation number 70. In operation number 70 on the crank disc, we're going to clearance drill, tap drill, and tap the hole in order to use the headless set screw and attach the crank disc to the main shaft. To do that, we've designed a fixture. Now this fixture works by holding the D shape up vertically so we can drill and tap directly normal to that surface or that flat. Now to install it, we want to make sure that the fully non-machine face sits flush against the fixed jaw on the vise, and that we close down our vise.